Right. Got a couple of poems here. I don't know if any of you are into poetry at all. Shut up!
There was definitely a generational shift going on. We were finding different targets for our comedy, and the emphasis was more on youth. In fact, Rick Mayall and Lisa Mayer had just approached me to join them in writing the sitcom which was to become The Young Ones.
Right, Neil. I'm going to give you 3 seconds to make supper. Starting now!
3 seconds.
1! 2!
What do you fancy, Viv?
3! Where's my supper?
Well, it's not quite finished yet, actually. You know, it's not ready.
Oh, that's right, Neil, yes! Lines around.
So, Rick, here we are, and it is very, I think it's very appropriate that we're meeting in a pub because my memory of The Young Ones is that it was created in a pub, but we're having tea.
We're having tea.
Out of deference to our age.
I understand that your programme's got a viewer, so...
Yes,
nice
cheers to the viewer. So can you just remember about the process of how The Young Ones struggled onto the TV?
What I do remember is thinking, this is a brilliant idea. If I get me and Aid together, because we've got the characters already, we've got Rick and Sir Adrian Dangerous, and we've got the hippie, Neil, and we've got this very smooth, cool guy. OK, got 2 double acts, put them together, put the compere in as a landlord, and we got a Scouser landlord. That's Alexi. But I just couldn't write material for all of that. So I thought, I need a genius. I know. Ben. Yes. The Godfather of comedy.
The Godfarty, I think.
The Godfarty.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Godfarty. The Godfarty.
Yeah.
This is 30 years ago, and I remember that. The Godfarty. So I call up you and say, Ben, give me 1 billion gags, please, and you can get into showbiz.
What do you do of an evening if you're a young adult and can't go drinking in pubs? Now, what I think is that if the kids are united, we will never be divided.
Did you see that? Did you? The voice of youth. They're still wearing flared trousers.
I can remember you ringing up and saying, come meet me in the pub. You know, there was you, there was Lisa who was also going to be writing it, and we discussed this idea and put it together that night. And that very night, this was typed. I went home.
This is it.
This is it. This is the young one. This is the pilot episode. This is the pilot episode of The Young Ones. What did it say there? It says...
This is how old we are nowadays,
it says Jan 1981.
Fuck. The Young Ones, pilot episode, first draft, January 1981. I'm practically shaking.
And it's... Well, come on, let's read a bit. Read the first... See if you do... Let's see... Hang on.
OK.
Here we go. All right.
This is the original.
Yes, this was it. OK, so Rick is dancing. Right. Okay.
Rick is dancing. That was brilliant. Pity about Cliff Richard.
I'll be Neil.
What about him?
He's holding the lentils.
What?
What about Cliff Richard?
Are you trying to be funny? Because if you are, I think it's in pretty poor taste, that's all. I'm not a fridge, you know.
First gag. Nobody got it, but it was fabulous. And I remember you saying to me in the pub, he's the sort of bloke who wants to insult people but gets it totally wrong. Like, he'd say something like, I'm not a fridge. Yeah. And I just thought, that is golden. And down it went.
That was a great new version of The Young One.
That was brilliant! Shame about Cliff Richard.
What about him?
What?
What about Cliff Richard?
You trying to be funny? Because if you are, I think it's in pretty poor taste, that's all. I'm not a fridge, you know.
Weird, eh? I better get back to the lentil casserole before I get disorientated.
How much do you think we could get for this?
Nothing, I don't think. I mean, with all my farty little writing...
Yeah, you've been doodling over it in Ben
have.
Elton writing. It's quite obviously the one that I wrote on my own. And you've put little Ben doodles on it, claiming it's yours.
I put my little doodle on it. Exactly. So, anyway, we got...
That script, Ben Elton, that you wrote in the middle of the night in the toilet has changed the face of British comedy.
Bloody! I hate it! It's so bloody nice! Felicity Treacle Kendall and Richard Sugar-flavoured Snob Bras! What with stereotypes, confirming the myth that everyone in Britain is a lovable, middle-class eccentric, and I hate them!
The Young Ones changed television, I think. You get to a point where you don't want to sit with your family and watch the sitcoms anymore. And there were no... The schedule wasn't infested with dreadful soap operas then, you know. There were lots of sitcoms, and it was all the better for it. But they were pre-Watershed. There wasn't a Watershed then, but that's what they'd be called now. But the Young Ones appeared, and it changed comedy.
Well, you can just shut up, Vivian. You can just about blummin' well shut up. Because if you've got anything horrid to say about Felicity Kendall, you can just about blummin' well say it to me first, all right?
If you've been with somebody, they go, what's this? What are they going to do now? And then they started rowing and hitting each other and shouting and ranting. Plus, it was loaded with all the political references.
It's a revolution!
What do you mean, revolution?
Revolution! Blood runs, flags wave. Come on, everybody, throw down your tools and throw up a barricade. Come on, run into the Winter Palace. Run into the Winter Palace and stand on the tables, waving bits of paper at each other.
Well, The Young Ones was really exciting because I guess I must have been 14 or 15 when it came along, and I went to boarding school, and in my boarding house, Pemberley House, the whole thing ground to a halt at 9 o'clock to watch that on BBC Two. I think on Thursdays, I can't remember, but everyone watched it, and it was a thing we all had to sort of share it was a communal experience as well, weirdly.
Fooled you! Thought you'd been really clever, didn't you? But you fell right into my trap. Now you can sit on the rickety chair. Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah!
We are the first generation who lived its entire lives
Watching
with
TV.
television.
Yeah.
And we were the first ones, so that is the explosion that was the 80s, where so much of it was telly.
The funny thing is, we were given it, oh, you've broken all the boundaries. No, we're in a house with a sofa, just like Terry and June, you know. We're a domestic sitcom. And in fact, some farty critic actually came up with the idea that it was a nuclear family, that Mike was the dad, Neil was the mother, you were the daughter, and Aid was the son, and it was a traditional unit. But whatever it was a traditional sitcom.
We never clean the toilet, Neil! That's what being a student is all about! No way, Harpic! No way, Dot! All that blue loo scene is for squares. One thing's for sure, Neil. When Cliff Richard wrote Wired for Sound, no way was he sitting on a clean lavatory.
Why was it called The Young Ones? And it's because of Cliff.
Yeah.
Because poor Cliff, one of the great genius things about... well, he wasn't a punk. He'd been around for 30 years before punk. 25? Pretty much like we are now, talking about alternative comedy. And so it was very uncool to think Cliff was great if you're a Sex Pistols fan. If you're a great admirer of the Sex Pistols who thinks Cliff's better.
Oh, Cliff! Sometimes it must be difficult not to feel as if you really are a cliff when fascists keep trying to push you over it. Are they the lemmings, or are you Cliff? Or are you Cliff?
All respect to Cliff. All respect to Cliff.
You can't mind blowjobbing Cliff Richard. It's just...
That was in awe.
Oh, OK. Yeah, well, you would be in awe if you were giving Cliff a blowjob.
Or
Apparently it's enormous.
I know, he's the man they call the tripod.
Yeah, exactly. They call him the tripod. He doesn't need a mic stand. Just clips it on his knob.
That's how fast Ben Elton is, said Rick.
Still doing Cliff gags all these years on. Tell us, what were your favourite bits of The Young Ones?
I'll tell you what my favourite bits of The Young Ones. OK, they are these 3 moments. Cut.
And you know why? Because we're young ones. Bachelor boys. Crazy, mad, wild-eyed, big-bottomed anarchists. Look out! Cliff!
Typical Rick, he only chose one clip, which happened to be the very last scene of the last series of The Young Ones, which incidentally we did with a real bus. You can see where your licence fee went in those days.